Kylian Mbappé was born in a small French town known for crime, riots and poverty, but against all odds, Mbappé fought his way to the top of the world to become the face of football. They said he was too skinny, they said he was too young, they said he couldn't handle the pressure. But at just 19 years old, Mbappé didn't just prove them wrong, he shattered every expectation, humiliated billion-dollar teams, and made an entire country shiver. This is the story of how a skinny kid from Bondy became one of the most feared attackers on the planet, and why his current form at Real Madrid might be the scariest we've ever seen. On the 20th of December 1998, Kylian Mbappé was born, just 6 months after France lifted their first ever World Cup. Little did the world know that thanks to Kylian, it wouldn't be their last. Mbappé was born in Bondy, the poorest area in Paris, known for its high crime rate and frequent riots. His upbringing was far from one of luxury. He was born to two immigrant parents who both had a passion for sports. His mother, Faiza, is an Algerian handball player, while his father, Wilfred, is a football coach from Cameroon who coached Kylian as a kid. At just 6 years old, Kylian began his footballing journey. Even from such a young age, his coaches could tell that he had something the other kids didn't. He was much faster than everyone and had much better dribbling. Did you know that at 7 years old, Mbappé was already practicing La Marseillaise in his bedroom? When his parents asked why, he simply replied, "One day I'll have to sing it every time I play for the national team." This wasn't just a child's fantasy, it was a vision that would shape his entire life. By age 14, Mbappé was rising through the ranks at Clairefontaine, France's prestigious national football academy that had produced legends like Thierry Henry and Nicolas Anelka. His talent was so obvious that Europe's biggest clubs were already fighting for his signature. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, they all wanted the skinny kid from Bondy. But Mbappé wasn't just any wonder kid chasing fame and fortune. He was calculated, focused, and had a clear plan for his development. When Real Madrid came calling, Zinedine Zidane himself went to pick up Mbappé from the airport. Imagine being 14 years old and having your childhood hero, one of the greatest players of all time, waiting for you at arrivals. Mbappé was so starstruck that when Zidane opened the car door for him, he asked if he should take off his shoes first. And when Cristiano Ronaldo, whose posters covered Mbappé's bedroom walls, stood with him for a picture, Mbappé couldn't stop thinking, "I am just Kylian from Bondy. This can't be real. I must still be sleeping on the plane." Despite this royal treatment, Mbappé and his family made the surprising decision to sign with Monaco instead. Why? Because they offered something more valuable than money or glamour, a clear path to first-team football. This decision would change football history forever. At Monaco, Mbappé's rise was nothing short of meteoric. After 2 years in the academy, he was brought in to train with the reserve team, but he was so impressive that it only took him 3 weeks to get promoted to first-team training. On December 2nd, 2015, Mbappé made his debut for Monaco, coming on as a late substitute in a league game against Caen. This debut made him the youngest player to ever play for Monaco, at just 16 years and 347 days old, breaking the record previously held by Thierry Henry. 2 months later, on February 20th, 2016, Mbappé scored his first professional goal, becoming Monaco's youngest ever goalscorer, breaking another of Henry's records. But it was the 2016-17 season when Mbappé truly announced himself to the world. Monaco had assembled the most exciting young team in Europe, with players like Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, and Thomas Lemar. But it was the teenage Mbappé who stole the show. His Champions League performances were particularly stunning. 6 goals in the knockout stages, including a brace against Manchester City and another against Borussia Dortmund, made him the youngest player to reach 5 knockout stage goals. Did you know that in the 16 matches where Mbappé played over 45 minutes, Monaco won 14, drew 1 and lost none? In the remaining 22 matches, they drew 5 and lost 3. Without him at full throttle, they would have finished 2 points behind PSG. Instead, they finished 8 points ahead. By the end of that season, Mbappé had scored 26 goals and provided 11 assists. He had won the league title, reached the Champions League semi-finals, and earned his first call-up to the French national team, all before his 19th birthday. In the summer of 2017, Mbappé became the second most expensive player in history when he joined PSG for €180 million. Only Neymar's €222 million move to the same club that summer cost more. Some questioned whether a teenager could handle such pressure. Mbappé answered those doubts by winning a domestic treble in his first season, scoring 21 goals and providing 16 assists. But it was the 2018 World Cup in Russia where Mbappé truly cemented his place in football history. Going into the tournament, France were marked as one of the favourites, having just come off a final loss in the Euros to Portugal. This time, they had something different. They had a diamond on their side. They had Kylian Mbappé. Mbappé was given the iconic number 10 jersey to wear for France, as manager Didier Deschamps knew he was going to steal the show. In the group stage, Mbappé scored the winner against Peru, becoming the youngest French player to ever score at a World Cup. But it was in the knockout stages where he truly shined. In the round of 16 against Argentina, it was Messi versus Mbappé, the present versus the future. This game did not disappoint, a 4-3 thriller where Mbappé stole the show with 2 goals and a penalty he won. In the 13th minute, Mbappé took the ball in his own half and sprinted past 4 players before forcing Marco to give away the penalty that would put France in front. During that run, Mbappé clocked the highest speed ever recorded at a World Cup. But the thing is, midway through the second half, with the game tied at 2-2, Mbappé got in the middle of a penalty box scrap, stole the ball, dashed to the side, and put France in front. Then, just 4 minutes later, he finished off a 50-yard sprint by sliding the ball in to become the youngest player since Pelé to score a brace in a World Cup knockout match. There's no greater compliment in football than the words "since Pelé." France went on to win the World Cup, with Mbappé scoring in the final against Croatia. At 19, he became a world champion, won the tournament's Best Young Player award, and joined Pelé as the only teenagers to score in a World Cup final. The skinny kid from Bondy had conquered the world. After the World Cup, Mbappé returned to PSG with even greater expectations, and he delivered. Season after season, he dominated Liga 1, winning the league title in every full season he played for the club. In the 2021-22 season, Mbappé had his most productive campaign for PSG, scoring 39 goals and providing 26 assists in just 46 games. He won Liga 1 Player of the Year award for the 3rd consecutive season. But despite his individual brilliance, European success eluded PSG. They reached the Champions League final in 2020, losing to Bayern Munich, and the semi-finals in 2021, but couldn't get over the line. As his contract neared its end, the football world was abuzz with speculation about Mbappe's future. Real Madrid, the club that had courted him since 14, seemed the obvious destination. But, in a shocking twist, Mbappé signed a new contract with PSG in May 2022. The deal made him the highest-paid player in world football, with an annual salary of $50 million and a signing-on bonus of $300 million. Many thought this would be the end of the Real Madrid dream. They were wrong. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar presented Mbappé with the chance to join an elite group of players who had won the tournament twice, and he came agonizingly close. France reached the final, where they faced Argentina in what would become one of the greatest World Cup finals of all time. Messi versus Mbappé, the rematch. Argentina dominated the first 70 minutes, taking a 2-0 lead through goals from Messi and Di Maria. France looked beaten, but then, with just 12 minutes left on the clock, they won a penalty. Mbappé stepped up and scored. Just 97 seconds later, Mbappé scored again with a stunning volley to level the game. In the blink of an eye, he dragged France back from the brink. The game went to extra time, where Messi put Argentina ahead again, but Mbappé wasn't done. With just 2 minutes remaining, he scored another penalty to complete his hat-trick, the first time in a World Cup since 1966. Despite Mbappe's heroics, France lost on penalties. He had scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final and still ended up on the losing side. It was a cruel reminder that even the greatest players can't win alone. After 6 trophy-laden years at PSG, Mbappé finally made the move that seemed destined since he was a teenager. In the summer of 2024, he joined Real Madrid as a free agent. The expectations were astronomical. This was the club of Di Stefano, Puskas, Ronaldo and Zidane. The club that had won 15 Champions League titles, and now they'd signed the player many believed would dominate the next decade of football. His first season was a statistical success, but a collective disappointment. He scored 31 goals in the Liga, 44 in all competitions, breaking the club record for most goals in a debut season and lifting the Pichichi Trophy as La Liga's top scorer. But Madrid finished second in La Liga, crashed out of the Champions League earlier than expected, and went through the entire season without lifting a major trophy. For a club like Madrid, that's unacceptable. The criticism was consistent. Mbappé didn't press, he didn't track back, he didn't contribute much off the ball. He would drift into central spaces where players like Vinicius Jr. or Bellingham thrived, creating confusion instead of chemistry. It often felt like Madrid were playing 2 different games, one where Mbappé was trying to score, and another where the rest of the team was trying to function as a unit. Something had to change, and it did. When Xabi Alonso replaced Carlo Ancelotti as Real Madrid manager in the summer of 2025, few expected the immediate impact he would have on Mbappé. In their first meeting, Alonso sat Mbappé down and told him quite simply, "Kylian, listen, you can be the best player in the world, easily." This was the perfect approach. There was no need for Mbappé to be fired up. He didn't need to prove Alonso wrong. He wanted to prove him right. Alonso hadn't tried to reinvent Mbappé or take away the qualities that make him world-class. Instead, he's refined his role, sharpened his discipline, and built a system where Mbappe's strengths actually help the team instead of clashing with it. One of the clearest areas of improvement is his off-the-ball work. Last season, this was one of the biggest criticisms. Mbappé often looked disengaged without possession, standing around, walking instead of pressing, and leaving Madrid exposed when teams played out from the back. This time around, there's a clear shift. His pressing is more intelligent, more targeted. Alonso has drilled him to press in smarter areas of the pitch, at the right moments, and with proper intensity. That's why Madrid are regaining possession higher up and creating more chances in dangerous zones. His high-intensity pressures are up from 8.89 to 9.39 per 90, and while it's true that he still walks a lot, around 77% of the time, the difference is that when he does choose to sprint or engage, it's decisive. Then there's the most obvious change, his finishing. Last year, Mbappé went 3 games without scoring at the start of the season, which created doubts about how he'd adapt to Madrid. This season, he's come out firing. 11 goals in just 10 matches already. He looks sharper in front of the goal and far more clinical when chances fall his way. Remember those moments of hesitation we used to see from Mbappé? The slight uncertainty in his decision-making that sometimes crept into his game? Those days are gone. This season, Kylian Mbappé has started like a man on a mission. 11 goals and 2 assists already. Those aren't just good numbers, they're game-changing numbers. And more importantly, it's the way those goals have come. Madrid isn't just winning because they're a great team right now. They're winning because Mbappé has been the difference in moments where nobody else could step up. Take the Champions League opener against Marseille, for example. That game could have slipped away. Marseille struck first, and suddenly Madrid were chasing the game. But this is where Mbappé showed why he's so vital. He didn't just score once, he scored twice from the penalty spot to secure the win. His Champions League performance against Kairat Almaty was nothing short of extraordinary. He scored a hat-trick, becoming the youngest player to reach 60 Champions League goals. Then, in La Liga, he demolished Real Sociedad. any defensive hesitation from them. He pushed with his speed, he consistently got in behind the back line, and his finishing has been unbelievable. Some of the power Mbappé generates from his shots is unreal. You watch it on TV and he looks off balance, and then in like half a second, the ball is smashed into the back of the net. What we're seeing now is classic Mbappé, a player who not only scores but influences play at all phases. And that's going to be the key for Real Madrid, having a player like this in those big matches. His performance against Barcelona in the recent El Clasico on October 26, 2025 showed exactly why Madrid paid so much to bring him to the Bernabeu. Even if he missed a penalty later in the game, Mbappé still managed to open the scoring with a ruthless, clinical finish that left Szczesny rooted to the spot. He even found the net one more time, only for the goal to be ruled out for offside by the slimmest margins. On another night, we would have been talking about yet another Mbappé hat-trick in El Clasico. The way he constantly attacked Barcelona's high defensive line made the Catalan defenders look like they were wading through quicksand. As John Terry once said about facing prime Messi, you know exactly what he's going to do, but you still can't stop it. That's Mbappé now. They know he'll sprint in behind, but they're powerless to prevent the inevitable. Did you know that Mbappé has now scored more goals against Barcelona than any other opponent in his career? 12 goals in just 9 matches, including that unforgettable hat-trick at the Camp Nou for PSG in 2021. At 26 years old, Mbappé is entering his prime. The scary part? He's only going to get better. The challenges ahead are clear. Madrid lean heavily on Mbappé now, especially since Vinicius isn't the same Vinicius as before. If Mbappé is off, whether he's out of form, injured, or gets suspended, the team's attack will really struggle. Then, although Mbappé's pressing has gotten better, there are still defensive lapses. There are still times where he's walking around, and that's probably a big reason why Madrid have been opened up every time they play an elite team. And then, of course, there's the fatigue risk that kind of goes hand in hand with the over-reliance. When you're involved in the scoring, creating, pressing, even being the leader, there's a big toll mentally and physically. But if anyone can handle it, it's Mbappé. This is a player who has been dealing with pressure since he was a teenager, a player who's already won a World Cup, scored in a final, and carried the hopes of a nation on his shoulders. Because when they get to the business end of the season, when you get to the Champions League knockout, you're going to play against tighter defenses. There's going to be more pressure, more mistakes. Even world-class players can struggle in those tight matches. But now, Madrid have a guy who can deliver in those moments. Someone that can just take over the game when they need him. From the concrete playgrounds of Bondy to the bright lights of the Santiago Bernabeu, Kylian Mbappe's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. The skinny kid, who once had posters of Cristiano Ronaldo on his bedroom walls, is now breaking his records at the same club. He was the laughingstock of the entire footballing world in the 2025 season. Everybody took their turns to get their shots in at him. Done nothing, has he? Done nothing really in his 3 league games. And the way Mbappé is going, he'll be remembered as a great player, but he's never going to be an all-time great. And now, he's here to silence all those critics to prove that he's not just a great player, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. The skinny kid from Bondy didn't just take over world football at 19, he's still rewriting what's possible at 26. And the scary part, he's only just getting started. So, what do you think? Is this the best version of Mbappé we've ever seen? Or is there still another level he can reach? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more football content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.